Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
If tomorrow
I am asking you to choose greatness.
And I had to start
Comes from China. That's what.
I just want to say that this is my honor.
You are so lucky,
thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
Mr. Trump.
Yes.
Are you Batman?
I am Batman.
The greatest jobs president that God ever created.
You're gonna have jobs. I love this guy right here.
Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." He said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
Keeper of promises.
One nation, under God.
We're all looking at the exact same thing. There are two camps that are seeing two different things. And I do believe that the people that are so entrenched in their negativity, they're led largely by emotion and they can't let go. The key is to separate the psychological effects of Trump from the practical results of his actions. That's how you're going to end up judging this guy. This is a phenomenon.
There we go. All right. Sorry about that. We've got some technical difficulties that we're dealing with here. We've been having tumultuous rain all day long here. So we're just wanting to try and get things situated here. We have this wonderful redneck internet here. So my apologies as usual. Tumultuous rain nonetheless. So anyways, welcome. We got a great show tonight at the Truth Truther show here at the Sovereign Redneck Renegade Radio. So before I bring in our guest, our divine Pleiadian brother, Kent Dunn, as well as our divine brother, Patriot Dave. So I just want to touch base with you guys on a couple things and get you guys caught up to speed on some events that are happening right now. So we have an amazing event. It's going to be happening April 14th through the 16th in St. Louis. It's called Stand in Honor. This is an event that a group of us have put together where we are going to try and help and teach the Patriots how to reclaim the Patriot community. You see, over the last 2 years, the Patriot community has tried to come together in multiple ways, but we've been torn apart in multiple ways. We've had agent provocateurs, infiltrators, and so forth come into the Patriot community, and it has splintered us greatly. And a lot of the problem is a lot of our divine brothers and sisters in the Patriot community have gone to a lot of these various events, patriotic events throughout the country over the last 2 years. None of those events were predicated upon having a spiritual revolution, revival, if you will, within our country. We have a covenant over this land that God put over this land. All right. That has never even been talked about. What's happened is that these patriot events, they've been waiting for a political savior, a military savior, a financial savior to come save the day. And that is what has left these divine brothers and sisters empty. We're going to reignite and recharge the Patriot community at Stand in Honor. So what I want to share with you guys are going to get the first look at the new logos for True Sovereignty. So True Sovereignty is the organization, is the parent organization that we are going to be launching. Okay. Then Stand in Honor. That's the logo for the event Stand in Honor. We are planning on actually organizing multiple events to follow St. Louis. The next one will be around the Fort Myers area the following month in May. So every single month, we're going to try and plan a Stand in Honor event. All right. We're going to teach our brothers and sisters how to reclaim their sovereignty. Sovereignty isn't just like doing paperwork to restore one's status as an American national. Sovereignty is reclaiming yourself on a spiritual level, accepting that you are a divine being of light, that God, the infinite creator, created you originally, having a human experience. All right. It's going to be a profound event. So we can't wait to share that with you guys. Okay. Also, so behind the scenes, we've been working at Redneck Renegade, and I'm actually going to be having a new co-host with me. It's going to be sharing my platforms. His name is Cohen. Some of you have seen him already. Some of you have not. Cohen is going to start sharing with me, producing content on the social media side as relates to Redneck Renegade or Sovereign Redneck Renegade Radio and various platforms. Okay. I just signed an agreement today where I am going to be creating a new channel on the newly launched called Gnostic Network, which will be broadcast on Roku and on Amazon TV or Amazon Fire. So we're going to have a new channel. It'll be called True Sovereignty TV. And I'll be giving you guys more information about that in the coming days. This thing is happening rather fast, and we're actually having to respond really fast. So we're really excited about this, very much so. All right. So let's do this. Let's bring in our brother, Pleiadian brother Kent. How are you doing this evening, Kent?
Good, sir. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Just so you guys know, I'm just letting everybody know, we've had a lot of rain today in Missouri, so our internet is being affected greatly right now. So there might be a little lag time here and there. So I just want people to know, if you see us freezing up, that's what's going on, okay? And I just want you guys to know, Kent just returned back to Earth. Not too long ago, as a matter of fact. So he is pulling double duty. So we have to say thank you for Kent for being willing to come on here after he has been actually gone doing a lot of work. And I'm sure he's going to give us a rundown as to what's taking place right now. Now, if you guys aren't listening, you guys should tune in every Tuesday. Kent has an amazing radio show. Brother Kent, why don't you tell them about your radio show and how they can actually listen to you on Tuesdays?
Sure. It's you go to KCORradio.com at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in to the Journey of Universal Knowledge. And I do a show for 1 hour on that platform, and it goes all over the world.
He does. He's got a lot of listeners there. A lot of valuable information, which we're going to start covering tonight. I can't wait to dive into his last show. As a matter of fact, he's been actually trying to help prepare the people listening and the audience listening to them for what's coming. And we're going to dive into that. So let's bring in Patriot Dave. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hey, great. How are you all doing?
I'm doing great, brother. It's been one of those days. I don't know if you're getting bombarded with rain in your part of Missouri, but again, I'm often reminded I'm living in a constant state of misery, not Missouri.
Well, we had a bunch of chemtrails yesterday, and my wife said, "Hey, I guess it's going to rain tomorrow. So she looked at the weather forecast, and lo and behold, here comes the rain.
Yeah, weather trails. The difference between a chemtrail goes straight. When you start seeing designs in the sky, those are all weather trails to make rain.
Well, we actually did see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right. So let me do this. I need to get rid of my banner here because it's blocking part of my head here. All right, there we go. That's better. All right, so let's dive in. So we had Kent on 2 weeks ago, and we had a lot of amazing feedback because we're diving into areas that no other truther channels are really going into right now. You got the bulk of them that are selling the hopium Kool-Aid left and right, but I think that's kind of slowing down a little bit, honestly. You know, I actually have to tell you guys, as I was working today, I was listening to Carrie Cassidy interviewing SG Anon. And typical Carrie Cassidy fashion, she sets you up, and then she draws you in, and then she starts eviscerating him, sort of in her nice way, right? But it was really telling because she held him accountable. And this is what I want to say. We've had this conversation between three of us all the time. And what I'm telling our audience is this. Carrie Cassidy lays it out there just like I've been saying. She said this to SG Anon. She goes, please help me and our audience understand something. Why is the White Hats having such a hard time connecting with patriots and other Americans to get them to wake up when they're conducting this operation to save and restore the world? And then Carrie said, I'll tell you why. Because the dark side has figureheads that are public figures that everybody sees, public enemy number one, and they're telling you what they're going to do. They're advertising it. They're not even hiding in the shadows anymore. She said, if you're going to try and sway the hearts and minds of the patriots as a collective to jump on board and rally behind the White Hats, you need to be out there and give them something visible so they can see there's actually a plan in place that's actually happening right now instead of hiding in the shadows, pretending nothing's going on and then lying to people about nothing going on. She said, she's right. She's absolutely right. And so Kent can actually provide some clarity from a galactic point of view of Earth Alliance and what they're doing to help humanity and Earth Alliance, i.e. also with the White Hats, to try and restore and save our planet.
Right. Right. You know, understand.
So, yeah, go ahead, Ken.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, brother. There's just a lag in our time.
Okay. What I was going to say is you have to understand. We are the White Knights. Okay. We are the aliens. We are not the White Hats. We are not here to save you.
Mm-hmm.
We are here to help you save yourself. We lend help to the White Hats when they ask for it. We are in constant contact with Space Force and General Saltzman now. That's moving everything down to MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. Okay. And we're working with him to get all of that equipment down there. Now, we've also set up a 7-member council on the Earth Alliance that is half human and half alien. Okay. And the reason that we did that is this. If you attack the humans or if you attack the aliens that are on this planet, you're attacking your own brothers and sisters. Okay? And this is this has been a wonderful, wonderful idea. Now, after tonight's show, I'm going up. I have to get ready. We're going to be going to Thursday we're going to be going to Ganymede for a meeting. We're taking the council with us. Then we're coming back to the moon for the Galactic Council meeting to introduce the 7 members of the Earth Alliance Council. Then we're going to be going to Mars to let them visit with the leaders inside the planet. And then we're going to be going to Venus for them to get an idea of who and what they're dealing with. Okay, so they can come back down here and make good recommendations for the beings on this planet. Because you have to understand, most of these aliens that are born here, if they go back to their home star system, they will be made slaves, and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
This is very important that people have to understand. And they don't want to go back and be slaves. And, you know, they be taken off to the slave auctions on Uranus. Yes, they actually have slave auctions on Uranus. Okay? For a lot of people that don't know. But beside the point, we're working as a collective. Okay? The white hats, when they need the SSP is there. For those of you that don't know, the military is getting ready to go underneath the SSP, which will be the control for the United States, Europe. Russia is questioning it. China is not questioning it. Okay? Because of the meeting on Ganymede. There was a meeting between the French, the United States, Russia, and China, and they picked the United States SSP to be over the planet of Terra, okay? And all space agencies answer to them, which in return, if they need our help, we will send in help, okay? But we have to get this council going so we can get everything planned out. We have been doing this for, what, ML, 2.5 months since me and you talked about it, you know, putting it together. Mm-hmm. Now we're straightening it out. We've got the bad seeds off. We've got good people in that are willing to work with each other. Now is the time for us to start expanding. And it's time for you to start understanding that we're here. Okay? We, the aliens that are in human vessels, we are here. Okay?
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you giving us a rundown on that. Dave, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, I was just going to ask Kent about how many would you say are here, kind of like yourself?
Well, there's only 100 million humans. The rest of them are either half human or all alien.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's something I want to touch on. This was at the beginning of Brother Kent's radio program from yesterday. So 2 weeks. This is one thing I love about being what they call an online influencer, because people track everything that you do, good or bad. They track because they want to see if they can get you on something, and they want to see call BS on something. So I'm okay with that because I'm completely transparent. And if I do something that's wrong, I always own it, but it doesn't happen very often because I'm not very wrong very damn often. All right. Mm-hmm. So 2 weeks before midterms, I was telling my followers on my channel that this is how I see things going forward in the future. And I said that if the Republicans gain control of the House, that would mean once they get in there, whoever they pick as Speaker of the House, they're going to go after Joe Biden. They're going to really put the heat on him. He's going to be forced to resign rather than go through a bunch of impeachment trials, which puts us kind of in a constitutional crisis in the sense that they would exercise the 25th Amendment, which means Kamala, the vice president, would have to become president, but he or she's a he, and he can't become vice president because
she's not a citizen. She's not a citizen.
So then you have third in charge, right? Third in charge,
right?
Which means Speaker of the House. So at that time, I said I could see the Speaker of the House stepping to the side and allowing Trump to fill that role, thereby being inaugurated as president at that time. And then I saw at that time, Trump could fulfill that role for like 90 days, long enough to do what they need to do. They would call a special election to take place itself. So that's where I see things kind of lining up at right now. And then Brother Kent on his radio program yesterday, he actually talked about that. So would you like to share that information with us as what information you're receiving on that end, Kent?
Sure. The information that I'm receiving is that they are going to use the 25th Amendment, which everybody has already heard about. They're going to be taking Joe Biden out. Kamala Harris, who is actually Kamal, a guy, okay? Kamal Harris is not a citizen of the United States. He cannot take over as president, which will leave Speaker of the House McCarthy in there. And when McCarthy goes in, he's going to sign 3 executive orders under the power of the president pro tempore. Okay. After that, he's going to be calling for new elections. At this point, they're going to bring Trump, the real Trump, not the Trump you're seeing now. The Trump you're seeing now is the dark state Trump wearing a mask. Okay. They're going to bring the real Trump back, and that Trump will run for president again, and he should get 8 years.
Gotcha. All right.
You got a question there, ML?
No, I don't have a question. I'm just saying it validates again what I've been saying, because even though it appears from an optical, place, we're seeing things are happening. All right. But we have to question ourselves. Well, all right. So we have to agree at some point in time that there is this hidden hand, I'm using that term loosely, that swings this pendulum left and right, left and right. We've gone as far left as we possibly can. And so they're starting to sacrifice their own. The left is starting to sacrifice their own because they realize the gig is up. We can't go any farther left than what we already have in this country. So we need to correct and go back to the right. Doesn't necessarily mean that's a good thing either, because now we're going to the extreme right as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need to go back. We need to go back to an even balance. But unfortunately, since the pendulum has swung all the way to the left, it is going to have to swing all the way to the right before it comes back to a balance. And you're going to have to get ready for that. Okay?
Going to be a hard swing, huh, Kent?
Yeah, it's going to be a real hard swing. But when that pendulum stops, that's when everything's going to be coming back into balance.
I got a question for you too. Kent, we was talking about Trump allegedly dying in that helicopter crash. So how does that fall in place with the real Trump coming back? They brought
the real Trump, even though he died in 1989. They brought him back to life. They took him to Dulce. Okay. And because Trump is actually an alien, okay, they were able to use 5D med beds to bring him back like they do aliens on the space crash.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
You got anything on that, ML?
Another thought too. This is one of the, well, yeah, I do. I'm going to go down the Project Looking Glass Avenue. All right. And this is what I said on my channel a couple times this previous week over at the Telegram channel at Sovereign Redneck Renegade was this. All right. So I'm taking a step back, and you have to look at things in a very analytical, pragmatic way. So we have this technology called Project Looking Glass. Now, let's say the white hats, they've only had access to this for 2 or 3 decades, whereas the cabals had this for a very, very long time, right? Mm-hmm. So the cabal has been able to look into future timelines and be able to create events that benefits them on each one of those timelines. That's why they're always coming out ahead of, let's say, the white hats. That being said, that would mean that the cabal was able to see sometime back that when they implemented the you-know-what that took place 2 years ago, and then the therapeutics afterwards and so forth like that, for their eugenics program, they were able to see how that was going to roll out. Okay, I accept that. So then I also have to look at, but then if they had access to that, then the white hats should have been able to see those timelines, those events in those timelines, and the white hats should have said, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to go in here and interrupt that timeline and put our own thing in there. That makes you go, well, wait a second. Why didn't they do that? Because like Kent has said in the past, the white hats helped Trump become president in 2016. They intervened. They stopped the election right there on election night and prevented, Hillary, and they put Trump in there because that was supposed to be the operational plan of the white hats, was to put him into place to start the initiation of the restoration plan. So we have proof that the white hats indeed have the ability to do those things, just like the deep state does. Right. So then you have to ask yourself, then why did they allow this thing to take place out of China? Why did they allow the election to be stolen in 2020 when in fact they put their pick into that position of power, right? Why would they interrupt what the guy was doing? The guy was going around the world restoring things. So why would you interrupt the flow of what is happening in this world see, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. And Carrie has asked the same question to certain individuals that she's hosted. And of course, these guys are like, well, I can't answer that. That's a great question. Damn right. It's a great question, because then it makes you wonder the hidden hand that is swinging the pendulum. And we keep being told this wonderful game, this wonderful movie we're all participating in, unbeknownst to us. That's why we have to think. And this is why we keep saying we're the plan. We've been the plan the whole time. Nobody else is coming to save us like we've been portrayed. It's very frustrating, because if I can look at things objectively like that, other people should be able to do the same thing. It's called deductive reasoning. Right. You guys can go ahead. If you want to add upon that, go right ahead.
I mean, what's to add? In my opinion, what's to add to it? I mean, they run over 800 scenarios through the looking glass. The cabal lost every time. 800 different scenarios. And they lost. They know this is coming. Okay? They're doing everything they can to cause as much chaos as they can right now. The fiat money system has got to come down. We've got to go back to gold and silver as money. We've got to be able to go to barter. Okay? Barter with our neighbors. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to have to plant gardens. You're going to have to get your own chickens. You're going to have to get your own products that you can trade with your friends, family, and neighbors. This is so important. I'll give you, for instance, today, they held a farmers-only auction at a co-op. Eggs were selling for $8 a dozen. Can you imagine? At $8 a dozen? Man, I raised ducks I raise ducks, and I've got good duck eggs, and you know what? If you're getting chickens, well, I don't want to step ahead, but if you're getting chickens, you're going to have your chickens start getting sick. Okay. As of right now, start getting khaki Campbell ducks, start raising them, because that's where you're going to have to get your eggs from. And those eggs are going to bring you a small fortune in either barter or in silver. And that's what we're going back to.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
I think you're better off to be prepared than not be prepared, because you can kind of see the writing on the wall here where we're going. We've been preparing for over 9 years. We knew this was coming. And everybody laughs at all them preppers. Huh. Not a good idea.
Yeah, keep laughing, because we're going to be the ones that people are going to go to going, we're hungry. We're hungry. Okay. Yeah. Keep laughing.
Yeah. I actually can remember at the time that I was still a active member in the Mormon church, and everybody knows the Mormons are huge preppers, right? Well, let me tell you guys a secret. Only about 5% are actual preppers in that church. It's not all of them. Even though everybody thinks they are, they're not. It's like 5% at best. But what I can tell you is the joke would always be, well, hell, I'll just go to my Mormon neighbor and I'll take what he's got, because I know he's got a shit ton of food. And I would tell him, well, if you come to my place, you better be prepared to probably meet a gun, because that's not how that's going to go down. Sorry.
Well, I kind of have a belief that if you come into my house at night, the coroner will find you there in the morning. Okay. That's the way it is.
Yep. See, I don't have a problem. I'm of the mindset that I am my brother's keeper. So if somebody comes to me and they're starving and they come to me because they're in need, not in a threatening way, I'll help them all the time. But if you come in a threatening way, well, you're going to get matched. That energy will be matched, but tenfold as well. Right. So it's not going to happen that way. And so this is why I have tried, like you, to help anybody that's listening to get their things in place. And I know people say, well, I don't have any money. I don't have this. And you'll be amazed. And I tell people all the time, if you're somebody that's on food stamps, you can go take that and stock up on a lot of perishable items like nobody's business. You have resources to do that with. You just have to utilize them instead of going and buying high-end steaks and lobster and everything else like that. You make a plan. You can actually put your family in a really good position, like Kent's talking about, of being able to barter and take care of them for a long term, utilizing that resource itself. There's ways that people can do this fairly economically too. You don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul to be prepared. And when you start doing it and you start networking with other people, then you actually start learning how you can help each other strengthen each other's weaknesses, because together we're much stronger if we're doing this together than just independently by ourselves, of course. Right. Now, Kent, I remember hearing you say last week on your show, you had, is it Chance that comes on your show is Chance, I believe is his name, Chance or Chase? Chance. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys were talking about setting up a bartering network or looking into establishing a bartering network. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's a wonderful idea, brother.
Right. This is not anything new. They have been doing this for a while. All right. But a lot of people do not understand how to barter. Okay. And you need to set up your group area, okay? Whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on Rumble, whether it be on Nextdoor, or wherever you want to set it up. But set up a barter-only group. to where your neighbors, if they need something, they can get a hold of you. Okay. And you two can barter. You know, I'm needing 5 pounds of sugar. Well, you know, in return, you know, I'm needing, 8 jars of, you know, I'm needing 8 jars of home canned tomatoes. Well, everybody knows how, you know, to get a hold of people that have the right thing. And, you know, I mean, you know, be kind. Don't be outrageous. Okay. I mean, greed is what's going to destroy you. And the people that are going to be in these groups, if they think that you become greedy, you're going to be kicked out like the redheaded stepchild. Okay. So work with the group that you're working with and start your barter community now.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
Absolutely. Well, that's part of being sovereign. That is part of teaching people how to be sovereign. You know, being sovereign is teaching people this concept of self-reliance, self-reliant upon themselves first, and then helping others to be self-reliant as well. You know, as I was talking to Jay, who is over Spiritually Raw, they're the ones that's launching this new network called Gnostic Network. And as I was talking to him today, it was interesting because he's talking about how, from a business application side, what they're doing with this Gnostic Network is they're trying to ensure that, like, content providers like myself would be actually taken care of with all the work that I'm putting into the content, building a channel, and making sure that it's being paid forward rather than just lining one's pocket, you know. And I said, well, that's that fifth dimensional consciousness, vibrational ascension mindset that we're going to. And this is what I've been trying to, I don't want to say the word preach, but teach, that we need to start utilizing, like, we're already going into that fourth density, and we might as well just keep going as we go into the fifth dimension with our consciousness and our vibration, start learning that there's new ways of commerce. The 3D ways were set up by the Cabal through the Babylonian system. This is the current banking system we have, and the current way that we work is structured around the banking system we have. It's an enslavement system itself. But the world that we're coming, that we're going to ascend, it doesn't work like that anymore. You know, Kent, with your experience in dealing with a lot of our galactics and the guardian galactics and the different civilizations, can you, like, give us a peek at how do they conduct commerce? How do they, you know, exchange energies as it relates to commerce with each other? Because I don't think it's anything compared to what we do here on Earth. And I might be wrong, but I'm pretty confident it's not like anything that we do here on Earth.
No, absolutely not. A lot of times there is, when you're trading with other families, okay, in the terrestrials, okay, they will give you things that they have in trade, okay. There is a point system out there, kind of like coins, okay. They do trade in gold. They do not trade in silver. Silver is only found on this, on Terra, okay. You have to understand, there is not silver on these asteroids. There's plenty of gold. There's so much gold here. There's so much gold in this world that silver should be down to 1-to-1 with gold. Because guess what, folks? We ain't got no more silver. All we're getting is third grade silver. And they're making the 2023 coins for the United States in China with number 3 grade silver.
God.
This is junk. This is junk. You know,
Yep.
but you know, there's
this
ways
is
of
what I was
trading.
teaching, Brother Kent. Yes.
Yeah. You know,
So,
the ways of trading
I was teaching.
is,
Go ahead.
you know,
Go ahead.
is working out deals with families. Okay. Working out deals with families that, you know, your ships can come in and if something goes wrong and they can be fixed on their planet. Okay. And you start with small relationships like this, and then you build up into a galactic bartering system.
Yeah. I got a question if that's okay, ML. I had a question.
Go ahead.
I had a question for you, Kent. So if I had 50 to 100 chickens, is there any precautions I can do to save those? Just because you probably can't say exactly what they're going to do, obviously, but
actually there is. If you're you need to put liquid silver, colloidal silver, into their water. Do that with your dogs too, because by February 15th, the government on the East Coast is going to be releasing the influenza virus that they've already released on the West Coast. Okay.
Yeah, I seen.
And I recommend if you can find a gas mask. If you can find a gas mask, there's going to be days that when you know they're spraying, you're going to want to put that mask on for a couple hours every day. Yep.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Kent.
Yeah,
welcome.
Absolutely. So this is something I had taught. It was a two-part lesson. I was teaching people about the Anunnaki and Mormons, and when certain Anunnakis came here a long time ago when they were gold mining because of the vast amounts of gold that's here on this planet, and the ley lines that the circuitry ley lines that are on this planet, that's where your main gold deposits are at, and that's why there's massive, those ley lines are these energy conductors itself.
Right.
And I was actually talking to an Anunnaki individual who said that in one of his previous lifetimes that he came here, I can't remember how many far back he said, but it had been probably at least 10 different times back that he'd been back. But when he came here, he was a scout, and that they had just in the Pacific Ocean, they were able to, through their technology, obviously, they were able to find out or they were able to read how much gold deposits just in the Pacific Ocean alone. And he said it equated to, I don't know, like 200 metric trillion tons, trillions.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right.
That is a massive amount. And you would think that as abundant as gold is over silver, that price would actually be more affordable to the masses than, astronomically much higher than silver. That shows you how much they've been suppressing the silver price actually on purpose as well.
178 years.
What's that?
178 years they've been suppressing the price of silver.
Wow.
Yeah, it don't make sense at all.
That's crazy.
Well,
that's just
understand
crazy.
Gold is the wealth of kings and silver is the wealth of merchants, aka the banks.
Well, another thing that this Anunnaki individual shared with me, he said, here's the other misnomer. He said, we get this, the information that he wanted to share with me is the fact that the gold that they were here extracting wasn't just so much the physical gold within Terra. He said, but all human beings have gold in them, and we were extracting gold out of the human beings. And this is why we altered the genetic coding in the human beings, so that, because you were designed, he said, you were designed to live 1,000 years. He said, we altered that. He said, we did that so that you would die faster and then recycle back through the reincarnation so that we'd extract that gold again. And he said, when you have millions recycling through that, you have a constant flow of a different type of gold that lays within our internal ley lines within us. Does that sound right to you, Kent?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the main, colloidals that you need for your mind to work at its maximum function is gold. And they've known this, but the thing is, this planet, with all the eruption, okay, and all of the iron ore that is on this planet, can create gold with one eruption. It will turn iron to gold. A lot of people don't know that.
I know they have the science to do that. Yeah, I know there's the science.
Yeah.
That they have the science to actually do that right now. I've actually, yeah. Oh, tell them about how they can get the colloidals from you guys as well, that you guys have an alchemist that you guys work with in manufacturing these 3 very important colloidal minerals.
Can you get me the bottles, please? I'm asking Dawn to get the bottles. We have colloidal silver. Do that,
but I left it at my house.
That's okay. I'm glad. Did you get the package?
I did. Thank you so much. That was very kind.
You're welcome, sir. All right. Okay. This is colloidal silver. All right. The silver is for healing and for sickness. Okay. It uses it for overall immune support system throughout the body. It's antibacterial and antiviral. Okay. Which this coming is what you're going to need. Okay. And it's concentrated. All right. This is colloidal copper. All right. Colloidal copper is used to is good for your blood. It's very important for the proper firing of the neurons in the brain and supports anti-aging. Okay. And the last one, as we've been talking about, is the colloidal gold. Now, the colloidal gold is good for mental focus, brain and nervous system, which is very important, and it's going to be more important when they drop this virus, including support for the neuron functioning of the brain. And I cannot, believe me, when I'm telling you the neuron functioning of the brain, I can't stress this enough to you, how important this is going to be. Because if your neurons are not firing right, your brain's not firing right. And you're susceptible to 5G. You're going to be more susceptible to waves, EMFs, things like that. The stronger you are, the stronger your immune system is, the stronger your mind is, the more you're going to be able to fight these off. Okay. And, if you're interested, get a hold of Dawn at quantumproducts333@gmail.com. And y'all be patient with her.
She's got a lot going on, huh?
Oh, yeah. Believe me. And there's people ordering like crazy. And we're working with the alchemist We're working with the Alchemist. We should get another shipment in next week, but these are just about gone.
Yeah, I told my wife to get them ordered a couple days ago.
Yep. And we're gonna keep everything. We're gonna help you. Look, folks, we don't make hardly anything off of these. Okay. We don't make hardly anything off of these. We're trying to help you. Okay. It's not like we're getting rich or anything off of that. That's not why we're here. Me and Dawn are humanitarians. We're working with the people. Okay. So understand.
Also,
go ahead.
Another thing, Kent, why don't you tell them what makes this colloidal product different than just normal colloidal silver that people can manufacture at home? There's actually something additional that you guys do to this that infuses this even more.
Right. You have two kinds of silver. You have the low grade of silver that's like 10 parts per million. Okay. And then you have the 60 to 90 parts per million, but you do not want to go up to 100 parts per million. Okay. That's overloading your body. And the other thing is that when you get these bottles, I charge all the liquids. All the liquids are charged. I put a 5D charge into these, and you can, as you're taking these, you'll feel these tingle on your tongue as you take them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. And here, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say you can charge water too by putting it in the sun.
And here's another thing. There's a glutathione patch right there.
Correct.
So for those taking these colloidals and utilizing a glutathione patch, excuse me, is going to help bolster your immune system greatly. I myself, because of I don't know, I guess I contribute it to my bloodline, if you will, but I really respond fast when it comes to holistic products. There you go. Thank you very much. I respond really fast to holistic products. So when I took the colloidals, I immediately can feel that itself. It does work, guys. And I've taken colloidal silver for a long time, but there's definitely something that's different in this formulation and what it's being charged with that actually gives that a little bit more oomph that your body's needing to absorb it, because it's bioavailability. First of all, you could have the greatest product in the world, but if it's not bioavailable, so your body's assimilating it in a proper way, it doesn't matter anyways. So having that good bioavailability actually, so it gets at the cellular level, that's what people are needing for sure.
The thing about it is when you're putting all
this,
covered
a wide gamut so far.
I'm sorry. When you're putting all this stuff together, if you don't use pure water, you're wasting your time. Don't get it out of the sink. Don't boil it on the top of the water. It has to be put through a system, filtered, and then boiled and made from steam, and remake the water to kill anything that's in it. That's the main thing that sets this apart from what they sell to people. It's just unbelievable. I've got different silvers. Me and Dawn have went out, y'all, and we have bought different silvers, and I've tried to charge them, and they won't take a charge. They will not take a charge because they're made of junk. They put salt. They put they put fillers into their waters. They don't use good, clarified water. You know, you want good clarified water? Go out and get a zero water. Run your water through that. You can't get any better. I mean, I'm not selling them or nothing like that. I'm just telling you, you want good water, go get a zero water filter.
Yeah, I've heard you say that before.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you. Excuse me.
Hey, Ken, I was going to say too.
I'll tell you something I did. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, thanks, brother. So I was going to tell you too. So like we have two locations. One has city water, which we won't drink or cook with, obviously, but the other one's a well. And we were taking it from there and taking it to the other place. But what we figured out is it's hard to buy the glass bottles because they want you to use the effing plastic. But finally found some. So now we can transport and store our water that's not in plastic. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Right, exactly. And the thing about it is, if you can get, what's it called? Did we put our water through to drink?
Structured water.
If you can get a structured water part to put on where you drank out of, okay, and run that structured water through there, your body will absorb twice as much than what you will let out when you go to the bathroom, okay? It's absorbed better. You find out it'll take care of your animals better. You can do it on your garden. Everything will keep growing and growing and growing as long as you're using structured water. But the water that comes out of the tap is dead. It's dead.
We can send people.
You know, if you're interested, get a hold of Dawn. She knows the woman that has the structured water parts that you can put in your house. And, you know, you can even get a portable one if you want to. It's up to you. I mean, we're just here to help. Okay? We're not making any money off this. We're going to send you to somebody else.
I did an experiment last week. Me and Miss K, we did experiments last week because I saw somebody put them up on Telegram on how to cleanse out the Morgellons out of your mouth. You get straight cranberry juice, the organic stuff, not the crap that you get at Walmart, but at a health food store, like a Knutson's brand or something like that. It's pure cranberry juice. And you only need to do a little bit, enough for like a mouthwash. You do it for 2 minutes, you rinse, spit it out, and you'll see all these Morgellons come out of your mouth itself. And I did it twice to just double see what I would get out. And I didn't have too much, but I had my sons do it. They had a lot. And we don't live in the city. We use, we have well water. We have really good water, actually. But again, all the chemtrails from above, due to all the crap food that you get at the store, that's the GMO and everything else like that, you add all that together, and it's amazing. And I encourage people to do that. Everybody's got it. And your mouth is a filtration system as well. So let's clean that filtration system too, because once it gets in your mouth, it goes into your bloodstream. It crosses that blood-brain barrier. So it's a good way to cleanse stuff out.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. So Kent, if Trump is allegedly coming back, and what is supposed to be happening, I mean, what does that time frame look like? I mean, obviously everything's predicated on how quickly they can get Biden to resign. There's the irony here, right? You got people close to Biden who all of a sudden they have a conscience. And so they're doing their duty to the country and turning in Biden for all these documents, top secret documents that he just misplaced everywhere. Now they're coming out of the woodworks everywhere. And so now all of a sudden, so I know everything's predicated upon when that happens itself. And we don't have a timeline as to when we know that's going to take place. But overall, what are we looking at for, because I know we have some hiccups we got to get through before we start seeing the good stuff. we got some hiccups we got to get through. And I mean major hiccups that we need to survive through. It's not a scare tactic, friends. This isn't a scare tactic to try and get people, would you rather us tell you the truth of what's about ready to happen, or do you want us to sell you a bunch of hopium of a bunch of false timelines and bullshit that you guys have been fed for the last 2 years? Or do you want us to tell you the straight truth of what's happening right now and what's going to happen, so that you're in a better position, so when the good things do come into place, you're going to survive that and be able to go into that rather than succumb to the bad stuff that's on the horizon here.
You have to choose.
So
you have to choose.
We have this. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave. I know you were saying something.
No, I wasn't saying nothing. ML was talking because I think he's got a little lag there. Go ahead, Kent.
I was just going to say,
I'm sorry, guys. It's our wonderful.
Yeah. It's up to you. We're not here to force you to do anything. Okay. Yeah. But what I'm asking you is, I want you to put it to your heart. I want you to put everything through your heart and let your heart give you the answer. Okay. Don't use your mind, because your mind's going to lie to you. Put everything through your heart and then let it come up to your mind. Because the heart will not let the mind lie. Not without. Believe it or not, they actually did a study, and I found this in like the 1960s study, that people that put questions to their heart, if they're giving a wrong answer, they start stuttering. Now, as crazy as that sounds, that's because the heart, after you've asked a question and you're getting ready to give an answer, if it's not what the heart's told you is right, then the heart starts skipping beats and you start stuttering. That's crazy, but it's true.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm to understand that the house cleaning that's been going on, and I'll just say for the last 2 or 3 years, that many of the upper leadership within the cabal is not on this planet anymore, that they've been either liquidated, shall we say, or they have been strategically relocated to other places. I mean, can you confirm that for us, Kent?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. When we started out, okay, this was back in 2017, because you have to understand the calendar is wrong. They set the calendar ahead 5 years. The Pope did, when they brought in the calendar. So 2017 was actually 2012. All right. So from 2017, we started. Okay. It wasn't in 2012. 2012, it was a psyop by the church. Okay. It actually started in 2017. Yeah.
And that was just to throw everybody off, I guess. Ken, is that what you're saying?
Right. Because the Pope himself from the Jesuits was told, do not let the people of the planet know when 2012 is actually coming. So what they do, they took the calendar, set it ahead 5 years.
My God.
Yeah.
People. Fuck.
Well, we're all confused. Here's the thing, right? So, most people are going off the Gregorian calendar. Then you have a few in the Patriot community that know, well, we should be going off of the Julian calendar. But then there's even a smaller fraction knows, well, there's another calendar that they screwed over. We had a 13-month calendar that had 28 days in each month over a 13-month period. So they've manipulated our calendar time system so much, we have no idea. I mean, as I've said for 2 years, they've added 1,000 years to our timeline on top of that as well. When you go back and really research from a biblical standpoint, because a lot of people want to use the biblical timeline narratives to gauge where we're at right now. Well, let's do that, shall we? And when I walk them backwards, they find out, well, where did this extra 1,000 years come from? I'm like, well, that's a great question now, isn't it? Things have already happened that people are still expecting to be fulfilled. They happened over 1,000 years ago. Those events had already transpired, folks.
Understand from the new moon.
So Dove X.
I was going to say, if we're going to make a calendar on this planet, and we're going to go by lunar, okay, let's go by lunar, which is more true than anything in the world. Okay, on this planet.
That's right.
From the new moon to the full moon is 15 days. And then 15 days after that, the full moon goes back to the new moon. So that's how every calendar ought to be set up. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but folks, it's the simplest way of knowing, is the lunar calendar.
Fact. I have a really good friend. His name is Troy. He actually developed a site 15 years ago. It's still going today, of course, but it's called the Creation Calendar. It's all lunar cycles. The ancients went off of the stars, the lunars. They went off of the heavenlies for their calendar. They didn't need to know it's today the 13th, the 18th, the 22nd. They went off of the lunar cycles. And that's how they knew what time of year it was. It is the most simplified form of keeping track of time is going off of the lunar cycles, because that full moon happens every 28 days. It's not a mystery. It's been happening for tens and tens of thousands of years.
Right.
Dove Kent wants to know, so what is coming? Why are we trying to tell people, get prepared? Things are imminent. Things are going to happen. So please share with them, why are we needing to be prepared for what's coming? What is it that we're getting prepared for? Could you share that with them?
Okay. Do you wish to be the part of the 80% or part of the 20%? I'm going to make that real simple. You choose.
Yeah.
Statistics, you got to love them. Math always wins. 80-20 rule.
Yep. 80-20. 80% is going to die. 20% is going to live. I'm trying to help you live. We're doing everything we can to help you live. Like I said, we're not here. We're not your saviors. We're not your gods. Okay. We're here to help you. Listen to what we're saying. I can't express that enough.
Yeah, I think she was wanting to know what's coming. And you kind of already said that earlier. She probably ought to back it up and listen before you was talking about the new virus thing that might be coming here.
Right. That'll be hitting the East Coast around the 15th of February. It's already been released on the West Coast.
And there's already been reports about that too, actually. A little bit.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people on the West Coast that never had a problem breathing before. Now they're all walking around with breathers in their pocket to open their lungs up from this influenza that is being dropped from the sky, from the barium, and from the barium, from the aluminum that's mixed in with it. Pick. Do you want to be part of the 80%, or do you want to be part of the 20%? You know?
All right, I have a question here, and we need to craft the answer strategically so that the YouTube Nazis don't zing us. The question is this: can you ask Kent what will happen to those that receive the you know what when this new strain of influenza comes out? Will it completely wipe them out? So let's try and answer that in a safe way, please.
Okay. When the new influenza comes out, they're going to try the same old. Okay. You have to be smarter than what they are. Okay. You're going to have to turn to natural products to build your immune system up. Okay. And the biggest problem that people have is they don't have enough minerals in their body to fight this stuff off, because there is no minerals in the ground where we're growing our food.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just typing something real quick.
That's okay.
Yeah. They took it all from us.
Try to eat off sterling silver spoons, sterling silver forks. Go to antique shops and look for
$45 a piece.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, you can go on eBay and there's people selling them. They'll sell you like 4 or 5 forks. They'll sell you like 4 or 5 spoons. How many do you need?
Brother, we got 2 in this house for 2 of us because of you. So,
well, yeah. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret with me and Don. We went to a yard sale, okay, here in Georgia. And a woman was having a yard sale, said her husband had died. And this silverware belonged to his mom and dad. And he would never allow her to use this. It was from back in 1843. She had it set out there. I lifted up the box. I saw all of that sterling silver in there. I closed it. I said, ma'am, I said, what do you want for this? She looked at me and her eyes got this big around. She said, you know what? If you'll give me $20 and take it away from here right now, I will absolutely sell it to you for $20. I about broke my arm getting $20 out of my pocket. That's what we eat off around in this house.
That's smart, brother.
Yep. Yeah.
Here's the question somebody had.
Sure.
So if the moon is not a real moon, then why would we or should we go with the lunar calendar? We've been told the moon is a satellite vessel to keep an eye on us.
No, the moon is not a satellite vessel to keep to keep an eye on us. When you're talking, see, there's a difference in moons. The moon outside of the dome, you can't see. Okay? It's the moon under the dome that the SSP run into, broke half of it off into the Indian Ocean, and they had to go back up there and they had to rebuild it. Okay? But if you understand the clock is 24 hours, half day, half night. Okay? Then you understand why the lunar is the most logical, because you can't go by the sun. You can't.
Yeah, and I want to add too, whatever the hell the moon is that we see, at least the cycle is always the same. You know, it follows that pattern.
Correct. That's AI cycle, because AI runs on a lunar cycle. Most planets in every universe, okay, runs on a lunar cycle. Whether there's hardly any sun or not, they still run on a lunar cycle, or on a lunar moon cycle. So, I mean, are they wrong or are we wrong?
Good question, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
Can you see that question?
This is the thing that people still have a hard time getting their heads around. Yeah, ahead, this person's asking, good chemtrails, is it true? Are they putting good chemtrails up into the sky? Yay or nay?
Nope. Unless you think barium and aluminum and coal dust and everything else that they're mixing together is good, then, but my answer is no. Absolutely not.
That's some bullshit people put out there to get people to listen to them. And
some Charlie Ward bullshit there. Let me tell you.
When that started. Yeah, that's the COFEFE. That's the COFEFE bullshit. When Trump accidentally said COFEFE, and they said, "Oh, that's because he said those are the actual periodical tables, atomic numers or whatever you call that." That actually are the different items that they're spraying up in the air to cleanse out the bad stuff. COFEFE. I'm like, my gosh.
Nope.
Seriously?
Nope.
I wish they were good though. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you have to understand they're only spraying at 30,000 feet. Okay? Everything above 30,000 feet is clean. Everything above 30,000 feet is clean.
That is so, that is absolutely true. As a matter of fact, I put a video up on the main wall on my Telegram channel of airline pilots, jetliner pilots. They were above the clouds, 30,000 feet, and the sun, instead of being above them, which is what it's supposed to be, the sun was below the clouds at 30,000 feet. It's one of those secrets that airline pilots, the plane of existence of which we're on, doesn't match up with the heliocentric model. So,
the moon's the exact same way. You go above 30,000 feet, you won't see a moon. It'll be completely dark.
So this same individual asked a second question from the moon question. ML, I do not understand. If we're under a dome, then how do the aliens come through it to Earth? Well, I already know that, but go ahead.
Okay. The East Gate and the West Gate. Okay. There was I'll have to go back just a little bit. Okay. Where Mars is now, Mars used to be a moon. There was a planet there called Malduk. In exchange of nuclear weapons, okay, between alien groups up there, they blew the planet apart. At that point, we have a magnetic force that's around this planet. It drew that magnetic planet, okay, towards us, but it is so radioactive that if you try to go through it, at a minimum, it's 200 miles thick. You're never going to leave. You're never going to live. Okay. You either have to go out the East Gate or you have to go out the West Gate to get off this planet. And there's gatekeepers there that if you do not have permission to come in or go out, they will make the gates disappear. ML can tell you about this.
The Melchizedekians. The Melchizedekians are the gatekeepers, y'all. You guys want a good visual example of that? When you go back to the Thor movies and you had the big guy that was in the portal chamber, he controlled the keys of the universe of being able to travel in and out of the stargates, the portals, and everything else like that. He was the vanguard of the multiverse and all the realms. That's what the Melchizedekians do. We are the vanguards of the systems that operate through the transportation throughout the cosmos. That's just one of the functions we have. But anyways, thank you, Kent. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
You got a chuckle out of that, Dave?
Ever since my first life, I've worked. Ever since my first life, I've worked with the Melchizedeks. I've always worked with them through every life. I've always run into a Melchizedek, and I don't do other people's show. The only reason I come on and do ML's show is because ML is a Melchizedek.
Thank you. I love it. Thank you, brother. This is all part, it's finding out, doing that inner work and finding out, because somebody had asked the question earlier. Let me see. It wasn't too far up. So let me see if I can find it real quick again. Let's see here. So they wanted to know, how do we know if we are alien, hybrid, human? That's a very good question.
Mm-hmm. It is a good question. And you would want to get in contact with the angels, okay, to help you out, to figure out what you are. Okay. I freely admit that I am an alien. Okay. I'm only in a human vessel because 3D says I have to be in this vessel. All right. I'm 5'9". If I was over in 4D where I didn't need this vessel and I could step into my other vessel, I'm about 11 to 12 feet tall. When I go into 5D, I'm 15 to 17 feet tall. Okay. But you have to play by the rules of the dimension that you're in.
Yeah, that was well put.
Yes, absolutely. So let's address this one, because this is a question that people pose me all the time. Aliens are fallen angelics. Partially correct, not entirely correct. Any contact with the alien is completely demonic. Again, not correct. All right, because first of all, there are certain, they're called extra-dimensional, interdimensional entities that reside in the fourth dimension. That's where the demonic entities reside, is in the fourth dimension. Mm-hmm. Extra or ultra-terrestrials are 6th, 7th, and 8th dimension, higher 4th, 5th density beings from other star systems, first and foremost. So not all aliens are demonic. The aliens, they're the fallen angelics, all right? Yes. Fallen angelics came here, but they're not, we're all aliens. That's the whole thing, guys. We're all aliens. We're a composition. We have a 12-strand DNA, and I'm actually only saying 12-strand because most people can't even wrap their head around the 12-strand when we're actually constructed of 24, not 12. So I'm keeping it at the elementary level if I possibly can. Right. Science tells us we only are operating off of 2-strand helix, when in fact we have 10 strands, which they call junk DNA. Well, wait a second.
Correct.
If they acknowledge we have 10 strands of junk DNA, then where did that come from? Oh, you mean that came from the source, the infinite one, a culmination of the Elohim, the Christos, the angelics, as well as other galactic guardian races that we are culminations of. That's when you need to go back and start doing your research on the root races of this planet, where they came from. You guys, it's really simple. Religion tries to tell you that Adam and Eve, that all races on this planet came from one man, one woman, Adam and Eve. We have 35 known races just on the surface of this planet. So how do you get 35 different genome races stemming from one man and one woman from 6,000 years ago, according to what the Bible says. You can't. Those other races came from different star systems and were brought here, and they ended up remaining here over time. This is why you guys have to go back and do your research. And I have to put this out there. Full disclosure, I was a Christian for a long time. I got out of religiosity into spirituality because things weren't adding up. And the real kicker in the nuts for me was when I had my audience with a Christ, not Jesus Christ, a Christ, and they revealed to me the divine origins, the cosmos, and the real truth as relates to religion and everything else. Well, when you're given a certain amount of knowledge at that point, you can no longer go according to the doctrines of men or the philosophies of men mingled with scripture. You now have a responsibility to go out there and teach people these divine truths of origins.
Yeah, and understand that that book has been destroyed and rewritten so many times. I mean, how many revisions are in that book? And every time they spin it a little more to the left and a little more to the left and a little more to the left to fit the reptilian, alpha draconian, religion, mind control that they use. Because they don't want you to know the truth. Then you won't be a good slave. Okay?
Confusion.
Then you won't be a good slave. And we're trying to get you out of that.
Book of Enoch, right, brothers?
Yep. Book of Enoch tells it like this.
That'll open your mind up a lot. But of course, people that are stuck in religiosity will say, well, that's not part of the Bible. Well, yeah, it actually was part of the Holy Canon originally of the 177 original books of the Holy Canon, which is only 66 now. So why did they actually take out the other one? I'm sorry, 777 were the original. So why would they take out 711 and leave us with 66? Because of all the massive truths that were in those other scripts. The book of Enoch even predates Genesis itself.
Correct.
Like I said, I've studied the scriptures in their original language of Aramaic, in Hebrew, and in Greek and Latin. And I'm telling you what, when you start going down that path, they start taking on a whole different meaning than what we currently have. Here's the other thing. We always want to use, as Christians, we want to use, the 1611 King James Bible as that's our litmus test of all truth here on this planet right there. Really? Who owns the copyrights to the Bible? Do you guys know that? Oh, you're talking about the Windsor family, the Queen of England, the Queen Lizard family. They own the copyrights to the God's book. How does that make sense? And yet we want to use that as our litmus test for everything that we have knowledge about on this planet.
Right. I mean, you might as well, if you need an answer to a question, you might as well just roll you a set of dice, pick a number, and then throw the dice and see if you get it right. That's exactly what you're doing whenever you're using the Queen's word. Reverse everything. And you'll understand exactly what we're trying to tell you. And I know if you've been raised, look, I'm from the South. All right. I'm from the South. I understand. There's people down here that their great grandparents, their parents, their grandparents, them and their kids all go to the same church and have for hundreds of years. But you know what? You can go to a bar every night too. But that doesn't mean that you should be there.
Yeah.
I mean, start using some common sense. Please.
Hey, Ken, I got a question for you if you're ready.
Sure, go ahead, sir.
So somebody asked me to ask you about the makers, Makers.
Yeah, the wing makers.
Yeah. Can you elaborate on what that is, etc.? Yeah.
Do I need to say more?
Well, it's funny because that next part of that question was, what position is he attached to? Which you probably can't answer.
That's correct.
That's interesting. Wow, that was a spot on question there. I'll DM you and tell you who asked that. You'll be like, oh wow.
Okay, that'll be fine.
So let me show you guys something, not you guys, because you already know this, but what I want to do is show our viewers here. So this book, The Genesis 6 Conspiracy by Gary Wayne, very profound book. It dives into Genesis 6, the fallen angelics, as well as a bunch of our galactic brothers and sisters that have been here for a very, very long time. There's another one there. The Book of Knowledge of the Keys of Enoch. That's another profound book.
Yeah.
Right there. The Apocrypha, Volume 1. There you go, brother. Yep. The Apocrypha, Volume 2 as well. The Apostolic Fathers. And last but not least, the original scripture called the Septuagint. Did you guys know, I'm talking to the listeners, before there was ever a Bible, the scripture that the fathers, the church fathers read out of before the Council of Nicaea was called the Septuagint, the Greek Septuagint, and the 5 books of the Torah. That's what they taught and used, guys.
Right.
They didn't have what we have today as a Bible. So, if it was good enough for them back then, should be good enough for us to utilize today to get some of our information from too, as well.
Right. They also called it also called it the Book of Peace. They nicknamed it the Book of Peace.
That's peace. Right, the Book of Peace.
Peace. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
So
there's also the lost, they call it the Lost Book of Q, but it's actually got a different title, which actually comprises the first 4 books of the New Testament in its originality. It's like, again, you really have to, when a person wants to utilize a Bible to argue from, that's their point of argument from, then you need to come to the table and you need to have a better understanding of the actual church fathers' writings. And I'm not talking about the Council of Nicaea church fathers. I'm talking about the church fathers going back thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago itself. It's interesting. I was Sunday, I was on a Zoom call with the 2 women who created that series, the Fall of Cabal series. They're from Norway. Are you guys familiar with the Fall of the Cabal series that came out in the last 2 years?
Absolutely.
No.
Okay. Well, they're a great series if you want to red pill somebody. I mean, they're amazing. And so they had a follow-up series called Sequel to the Fall of the Cabal. Well, now they're doing a mini-part series. And so they were talking about the religion of the Cabal, and they were doing a live Zoom 2-hour presentation on Sunday. And they were talking about the real Peter of Rome, because see, we're all taught that the Catholic Church is taught that the namesake of the Catholic Church is Peter of Rome, Simon Peter, who Christ bestowed upon and called him the rock, which the foundation shall be built upon. Well, the name Peter is actually a title. It's not a name of a man, guys. It's a title. And actually there was a person, but it wasn't Simon Peter, because Simon Peter never even stepped foot in Italy. So why would they name a church after somebody who never even stepped foot in Italy in the first place? It was named after a person by the name of Peter. Dang it. I have my notes right here. I don't even know where they went. But anyways, there was a different Peter. And this Peter was actually a demon from Caesarea. That is the Peter that the Council of Nicaea had founded the Catholic Church upon itself.
Yep.
And it was fascinating. And so all the pagan rituals and practices utilized in the Catholic Church came from this Peter that came from the Caesarea. You know, it was I mean, for 2 hours, they laid down all the evidence that even the Catholics are deceived, thinking they knew who their founding father, that the church was named after Simon Peter from Christ. No, not at all. Not at all. And somebody, I hope that they actually have a place to hide to, because once that information comes out, they're going to have another target on their back. As well. And they say they actually have to move around every couple of months for their protection.
Oh, yeah.
As they're producing
yeah.
Maybe Kent can take them off planet for protection, right?
Actually, we already have taken some of them off planet.
I don't doubt it.
All right. That opens up the segue, brother. I love this. So, for the better part of, I'll just go for 2 years now. We, meaning which Patriot community, has been conditioned to believe that there is a program. It's been named Gone with the Wind program, but there is a slew of hundreds of individuals that have gone into the Gone with the Wind program to be able to come out of that at some point in time as part of the Earth's restoration plan. So, Kent, are you able to verify if this is true or not?
Absolutely. It is. They are taken to a different timeline and are brought back at a certain time. That is all I'm allowed to tell you.
So, like who it is, and you can't say any of that, I take it, right, Kent?
Nope.
We'll find out.
Oh, yeah. You're find out a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. You guys are all going to find out a lot of things.
Bring it on, right, brother? You know?
Yeah.
So what does our time frame look like, Kent? What does our time frame look like for the hiccups that we got to get through to getting on the other side for, to usher in the good days, shall we say? Are we looking at 6 months, a year, 2 years? What are you guys?
2024 to 2025.
I know you have that information. Okay.
2024 to 2025. Yep. If you think you're going to get out of this without going through what's been planned, you're making a mistake, folks. You're making a mistake. You're going to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Kent, can you also elaborate how that ties into the dome, like disappearing and being gone type of thing?
The dome will never be gone, because if they take the dome away, that's over this spaceship. And yes, you live on a spaceship. This is not a planet. Okay. If they take that dome away with all the radiation, it will come into this planet and it will absolutely kill everything from inside the planet all the way to what lives on top of the planet. You have to understand this dome was put here because they knew that this war with Malduk was going to happen. And that is why this was given a dome. And that the planet in its little infinite particles, okay, circle around.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Let's see here. I have to formulate my questions in a careful way.
Right.
Considering where we're at, I can't wait to get my other channel going. Then we can actually speak a lot more freely.
Yeah, I was starting to
So
say
that's
I have
about-
to sit here and go, now how can I answer this and make sure I don't get, ML in trouble? Because the first thing
Absolutely.
that comes to my mind, I just want to pop the answer out,
So Anthony Grossi, he wants me to ask you, Kent, if other countries are actually planning to invade the United States by force soon.
Are they planning?
Mm-hmm.
There will be some that will come in here and invade parts of the country, but only because they have to get ready for the next round of things that are coming. Remember, we're going to play this out until 2024, 2025. Okay? And we still got more acts to go through than just what we went through already. Okay? This play is nowhere near over.
No.
So one more move on the chessboard. That sounds like a crock of shit, right?
That is a crock of shit.
I just had to ask. I knew the answer to that, but these people say this crap, and it just gives a lot of hopium where it shouldn't be.
Well, you listen to these people that are out there. They want you to think, oh, you listen to me, and everything is going to be roses and petunias.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, get ready for destruction, because it's going to be you that is going to have to replant those roses and those petunias. Okay?
Yep.
So the same person, Lady J USA, wants to know, so are we saying that people are going to have to wait for the miracle healing beds until 2025 because she's fighting cancer and she's 67? I'm telling people, and I've been saying to people, and I do this not because I want to upset people, is the individuals that have access to healing frequency technology right now are military, first and foremost, and individuals who have the funds to have them in their house. If they're not ready for the general populace, for people to have access to them yet. And I don't foresee that happening until we get through the hard times first, because that's just what I believe. Now,
Right.
Kent may have different information about that.
Nope. Listen, we're going to listen no matter what you think. Okay? You can get B17, which is bitter apricot seed, to help you fight off the cancer. Okay? I don't know how far it is, but B17, bitter apricot seed, fights and kills cancer. Okay? But if you're waiting on these med beds to save you, you're waiting on a false hope, folks. Just like, don't worry about it. God's going to come down here and he's going to save all of us. If you believe that shit, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you cheap. You go get it. I'll write you a receipt. Okay? Because it ain't going to happen.
I got some swamp land too I could sell,
Right. Oceanfront property in Arizona. Yep. Which actually is going to happen, but that's later. That's a few more years down the line.
But whatever sickness anybody's got now, as long as they don't count on looking outward for help and you go inwards, you're going to make it better just from your thoughts alone in your heart.
Right.
I'm just being real here.
Yeah. Doctors are not there to cure you. I don't care what anybody tells you. They're not there to cure you. Do you know when they get you into chemotherapy? Do you know what chemotherapy is? It's sterilized mustard gas that they used on troops during World War I and World War II. And you think that's going to save you? they get paid. They get paid the amount of money, like $50,000, just to say, Dave, you've got cancer. They're going to give that doctor $50,000. Then they're going to go into $500,000 for them to put the chemicals in you. Then whenever, if you're lucky enough to make it through it, which many don't, and they don't tell you that, okay? Then whenever you pass away in their hospital, they get the hospital gets $1 million for you passing away in their hospital, and $5 million is paid to the Stewart Trust for your death because of your birth certificate.
These scumbags, I'll tell you.
I'm telling you, man, if you listen, if you got a driver's license, if you got a marriage license, if you got a divorce, if you got a speeding ticket, or whatever you got in this world, they have made a bond out of it.
Yeah.
If you got a speeding ticket, they made a bond out of that speeding ticket.
Yeah, this is just, it goes so deep.
Yeah, I mean, but, people want to be passive, and, they want to do the right thing, which is a good thing. And, I appreciate that. But you know what, folks, they are screwing the people of the world. Okay. I'm telling you, they are literally screwing the people of the world, because every time that you buy a business license, they make a bond out of it. If you get your driver's license renewed, not only do they have a bond from the old driver's license, they make a new bond from the new driver's license. If you get a hunting license, they make a bond out of it. They make a bond out of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, Yep. I mean, when do we say enough is enough?
Yeah, it's about that time, huh?
Yeah.
Chemo kills the people, not the chemo.
We don't consent. F you,
Well, it's the chemo that kills people. It's not the cancer. There's people that's lived for 10 years with cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
But the chemo is what does you in, because chemo makes 5 to 6 other things go wrong with you. And then they bring in more drugs, and then you look like a pharmacy in your house. Just stay alive.
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
You got more questions there,
Yeah,
ML?
I mean, I know countless cases where people have been diagnosed with cancer, and instead of doing the traditional route of putting the poison in your body and loading up on the drugs, they went through the holistic route and they healed themselves, because your body, everybody has cancer cells within them that are dormant. Once your body becomes out of homeostasis, imbalance, and we have inflammation in our body, because that's all cancer is inflammation. Once you actually create an alkaline-based body, that acidity is minimalized and pretty much eradicated, those cancer cells cannot survive in your body. They get killed off by the natural inflammation fighting cells that you put back into your body and increase, stem cells. All right. Stem cells. It's a shameless plug, but I really don't care. All right. I utilize a stem cell regeneration patch because it works. It flat out works. And I've seen it work for lots of other people. So there's technology out there that is far enough advanced that you don't need a med bed yet, but there's advanced technologies out there like a stem cell regeneration patch that uses quantum light therapeutics into it. It allows your body to heal itself. Okay. So it's the next step to the progression of a med bed frequency until we're able to have something like that. So there's technology and holistic modalities that people can implement in their lives so that that stuff doesn't happen. And if you've been diagnosed with it, it's like you go down this path. Once you accept the fact that you have this in your body and you've resided with the fact that, oh my God, I got to go through this. This is my only chance. Because the doctors are going to pressure you and say, you got to do an operation first to cut out all the tumor. Then you got to eradicate it with all this massive amounts of poison. Then you got to take all these chemicals on top of it. That's your only chance to save your life. That's what they're going to guilt you into every single time. And I'm telling you, you divine beings have all the power here that if you don't manifest it, you can stop it from progressing. And then you can go to battle and start creating your body to be in homeostasis by treating your body with healthy modalities, by changing your diet, by putting proper nutrients into your body. And you're going to find that that thing reverses itself and disappears. Period. I've known people that have been in stage 4 situations where they've reversed it by going the holistic method.
Correct.
And they're still alive.
Absolutely.
That's the reason why there's a high death rate when people go the traditional route. There's a high death rate once you go the traditional route itself.
Yeah, that was well put, ML.
Yeah. And that's why I said bitter apricot seed, vitamin B1-7. They have been using the bitter apricot seed for so long, it's unreal. And then all of a sudden, the Rockefellers come in and they're like, oh, you can't do that. It's kind of like hemp. Okay? It's kind of like hemp. They used to use the different makeups that was in hemp to heal people with. Then they outlawed it. And it's not the kind, you don't smoke hemp because hell, you'd have to smoke 1/4 of an acre of it to get any type of a buzz whatsoever. All right. But you know, the
there's
hemp,
no THC in it.
Yeah, there's no THC in hemp, you know, and they used hemp ever since this planet has begun to help cure people. You know, and now there's a drugstore on every corner. What's wrong?
Yeah, and what do they put in that crap that we don't know about, by the way?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm just going to respond to this Lady J, USF or U.S. Air Force. She's the one that's got cancer. She's 4th stage melanoma, tumor, lesions tied. So send me an email with your contact information, and I will send you information on stem cell regeneration technology. All right. I will send you information on that, as well as glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant that we have. And there's some other products that we have too. You know, that is a good place to start, because here's the deal. When we reach age 30, half of our stem cells become dormant, and that's when we start getting these diseases. They start hitting us. And when we get to the age 50 and 60, 80% of our stem cells become dormant, and that's when we get these onset age-related diseases. So we have a technology, Kent and I are with the company that has a technology that actually helps your body to regenerate its own stem cells instead of going stem cell therapy and putting somebody else's DNA in you. That's why your body rejects other people's stem cells. The stem cell replacement therapy has a high rejection rate because your body's not designed to have somebody else's DNA put into your body. That's not how God designed us in the first place. But God 60%. Did design our bodies. That's right. God did design us to regenerate our own stem cells.
Right.
And we can do that very effectively too, and very affordable, instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars for the other alternative with a high rejection rate. Not good at all.
And don't let go of that B17.
Yes.
I cannot stress that enough.
B17. Does that come in a powder form? Is that the application is in a powder form?
There is. What is the name of that company in Florida? There's a company in Florida, and it comes in a bottle, and it comes in a gel. Okay. You can get the powder if you want to, but I recommend the gel. The gel is 3 times more stronger.
Wow. Okay.
I'll get, if I can't, Dawn's looking for it right now. We used to recommend it to people whenever they said, the doctor says that I have cancer. Okay, here's the company. I would need you to get a hold of them and tell them that you want the B17, the bitter apricot seed, and you want it in the gel, and start taking it, 2 to 3 times every day. Okay. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical technician or anything. My grandmother was an herb woman. What I know is what I learned from my grandmother. Okay. And we use that around here to our benefit.
Hey, Kent, can you shoot off Dawn's email one more time in case somebody needs it?
Sure. It's Quantum Products 333 33s, okay, at gmail.com. And y'all be a little patient with her, because a lot of times I'm going off planet and, or I'm off planet, and she'll be up working, answering questions. Okay. And, starting tonight, I've got a meeting, and then tomorrow night we start traveling with the new council that we put together. But I will get back. So Dawn said she will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to type and send something here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we have amazing technology with us, right here with us. So we don't have to hold out for med beds, guys. That's the thing. I've had hundreds of people over the last 2 years contact me about various medical situations that they're going through, or loved ones going through, and they're holding out for the med bed. And I keep telling them, why are you holding out for a med bed when you can do stuff right now and be proactive and do things for yourself right now? Mm-hmm. Why hold out for something of a what if? Why don't you focus on something you can do right now? So this has been great. Well, we're on our 2-hour mark, and I promised Dunn that I would only keep Kent for 2 hours, because he's got a lot of work that he's engaged in. So hopefully we'll be able to get Kent back here in the next week or two or something like that. Again, because, we value and appreciate the opportunity and the information that you share with us, Kent, very much so. And again, let people know how they can find you on your Tuesday shows, so they can listen to your radio broadcast again.
Okay. Go to KCORradio.com, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the name of my show is The Journey of Universal Knowledge. Now, next week, I'm going to have the Alchemist on. This is going to be a wonderful show. Okay? He is a true alchemist. He is an incarnate. Okay? And he's going to be explaining a lot of things into more details than what I do, because that's why he incarnated down here, was, to help people also. So
glorious times.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't miss being on this planet at this time for nothing in the world. You know that? I want to want to read you guys something. I want to read y'all something.
Yeah, go ahead.
A guy. Oh, I gotta find it. There was a hun, where was that? Where was that book that I took the notes in? Oh shoot! Hold on, I'll get it. It's kind of. We're gonna end this with something kind of funny. All right. I was listening to some gentlemen talk about whenever they were younger. All right. Whenever they were younger. All right. And we haven't found out for the women what it is yet, but as soon as I do, I'll let you know. For you men out there, when you were a baby, you were cute. When you were a teenager, you were a fine young man. 20 to 30 years of age, you're a good-looking young man. At 30 to 40, you're a hunk. At 40 to 50, you're handsome and studly. At 50 to 60, you are a distinguished gentleman. At 60 to 70, you're a dirty old man trying to prove he still can. And from 70 on, you're nothing but a pain in the ass, okay? So there you go. There you have it, man. From birth up till the time you die. Put yourself in that category.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. That was really good.
Southern humor, you just can't beat it. I'm telling you. You just can't beat it.
That's right. That's so true.
All right.
All right.
I love you all.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. We love you guys. Have a most blessed evening. We love you guys. And as I always say, keep your powder dry. All right. So till next time. And there'll be a next time. I love the way we ended this. That's great. Thank you, Kent. Thank you, Dave.
You.
Take care.
You.